Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a Shrewd Tradition, our new adventure. With me are four amazingly fun players. I would like you to introduce yourself, players. Please say hi.
Hello, it's me, Faye, and I'm playing Cal, or Gambling Rogue.
Hello, I'm Sylvia, and I'm playing Zora, our lovely witch.
Hello, I'm playing Yahtzee, the kineticist who also sculpts a bit.
And I'm Christoph, and I'll be playing Wind, the Sprite Ranger.
And we are actually on our first session in a new adventure. You might have heard our session 0 to give you a little more context to our party members that you're going to see in this adventure. But if you haven't, we're having a little explanation to what has happened so far in the session 0 and where we are at. Our story follows a group of 4 adventurers on their way to help a worried elderly elf who came to a nearby tavern in hopes of finding adventurers to save his village from a monster that threatens to destroy it. We actually meet our heroes as they leave the Honeydew Drop Inn located in Iarna, Irison. Our heroes watched a tavern filled with adventurers boasted about their heroic deeds, but then they all cowered once real help was needed, and offered their help to the monster problem. Even though they mostly do not know each other, they all decided to help the elf and go with him to Zekrotska, a village on the edge of the Hordwood Forest. On their way, the elderly elf starts to explain what dangers the group of adventurers are about to face. But before we go into that, players, would you mind describing your character once more for those who didn't get to introduce them to you just yet? I said that wrong. Let me say that again. But before we go into our story, players, would you please describe your characters for our listeners who have not been able to listen to hear so far? How do they look like and who they are?
Sure thing. So, there's Cal. She is a halfling, with a mop of brown hair, sun-kissed skin, well-maintained leather armor, and so many daggers. So many daggers everywhere. Just some on her belt, some on her boots, some behind her back, some on her arm. There's just too many daggers. And she is our party's rogue, and especially good at getting stuff undetected.
I guess I can introduce Zora next, as these two were in fact traveling together. Zora is a tall elf, definitely already in the older ages, but an elegant yet mature look about her, and she has long white hair and dark clothes, which gives a stark contrast, and she wears a lot of arcane accessories, brambles, branches, and has an owl familiar, who is a melanistic barn owl, so it's a black-brown owl sitting on her shoulder.
I am playing Yahtzee, who is a human woman covered in so many furs that you barely see her face. It doesn't help that she also has a small, odd mask covering on top of it, and lines that look like just big veins on her cheeks. She is a kineticist, and she's trying to do stuff with ice, water, which includes, whenever she can rest, creating small sculptures out of ice.
And lastly, there's Wind, a very tiny sprite, pale skin, bright white silverish hair. He's usually clothed in like a lot of layers of garment that are like have leaf-like patterns on them and are green. But currently on the road, he is wearing a breastplate on top of it. He also has 2 smallish white feathered wings that extend from his back. And he also has a dark bladed sword strapped to the side of his hip. And also he is currently traveling on a large elk named Fox.
We meet these 4 adventurers as they just leave the inn behind them, with the elderly man, the elderly elf, still composing itself, seeming to be absolutely relieved that he found someone who will come to help his small town. The man looks towards you all. It seems like he has been walking for a while to get here. As he explains, I am so grateful for you all to join. Please, my name is Flynn Greyfog. I have been living in Zekrotska my entire life, but it's been difficult. There's a beast, a monster, threatening our small town, and none of us is an adventurer. None of us knows how to deal with it. We started looking around for anyone who will be willing to help, but when people, well, if I'll be honest, some people already tried to help, but once they saw the visage and heard the roar of the beast, they ran away and left us stranded.
So, when you say monster, is it more metaphorical? Like, there's a person that is really, like, doing some bad things and you would call a monster, or are you, like...
A beast. A horrible beast.
A beast.
A massive creature.
Like a bear.
Bigger. It wails, it shrieks, it can smell you, it can hear you.
So, how much bigger than a bear?
I've only seen it perhaps twice, but bigger than a bear. Perhaps maybe the size of a very big bear.
Do you remember any other features of the big bear creature?
Its eyes are red and sharp, and it looks straight towards you. But once it looks at you, it starts making a hissing sound, and you can hear whooshing moving through the air. It flies above the town and terrorizes, thinking who is going to be next to be kidnapped and eaten.
Oh wait, it can fly?
Yes.
Oh.
And it kidnaps?
It takes whatever it can. Sometimes it's cattle. We have not lost any people just yet, but people have been injured so far. It did try to take one of our best, but we do have some people protecting our small town.
When did it first appear? When did the attack start?
Probably a couple of weeks ago. We tried thinking what could have happened to bring the beast upon us, but nothing. All we know is it's hungry, and it keeps taking whatever it would like. Our people are doing their best to defend ourselves, but we are a town of loggers. We are very small. We're only a few wood cabins in the forest, and we can't defend ourselves.
Do you perhaps know any stories where this beast appeared? Or is it just a recent development and no one knew where it came from?
He stops for a moment and starts thinking, as if like trying to figure out if he can recall anything. And you see him like closing his eyes, like slinting his eyes a little bit. His burrows kind of furrow into each other. I have been here for a very long time, and I never recall something like this. Not once.
With now a bit of a better picture in mind of the creature, can I do some sort of recall knowledge check to maybe like see if I know any creature that could fit that description?
Sure. I'm gonna say the DC is a bit high because you don't know
Yeah,
too much
that's
about
fair.
it. Give me a general recall knowledge, because you would not. Actually, no. I'm gonna ask you this way: what direction would Wind take this? What direction would Wind think about?
I mean, since I'm a
This.
ranger, I would immediately go towards nature.
All right. Then give me a nature roll.
Can I also do recall knowledge, but with the folktales lore?
Yep, absolutely.
Can I also, I guess I would do it on nature or arcana?
I would say all of you are hearing the same description. You can each take your own base, like what you would think that would make the most sense based on your skills, and give me that roll. Your DCs would be different depending on what this actually is and what you actually are looking for.
Carl would like to just support Zora by basically going like, oh, so what have we heard about? Is this like just, as an IT you say, a debugging duck to just help? Oh.
Yes. Let's go one by one based on what you rolled. Wind, you're focusing on the natural. Is it truly just like an animal or a beast, maybe, that is living in the forest that has been terrorizing it? You can think of multiple creatures that are able of flying, looking for meat or prey specifically to be eaten, but none of them fit to this location. This is a very cold place. The creatures you have in mind live in warmer locations, in jungles, for example, or in deserts, but not in frozen forests. You don't really come up with anything specific.
Okay.
Yoti, you're going for folktale lore. You're trying to think about mythical beings or story beings that might be fitting to this description. You can think of some that might fit. Some of them are kind of like matching also to what Wind has been thinking about, that are not really from the area. But when it comes to a frozen forest area with a being that is at least large, if not huge, and seeks fresh prey as it flies around, you do come to a couple of conclusions that you're not quite sure between the two. There is a very strong option that you're dealing with a type of a mutated bat or a mutated vampire. They are large creatures that do prey on fresh blood and do tend to fly around during the night, which would also fit what you would know about, for example, they can hear you, they can smell you. That fits very much with the description. The other thing that you can think of is there is a type of devil, a type of fiend that tends to live in frozen areas. Also a flying one, also one that is preying on fresh blood. That is something that actually, with talking with Zora, that is your shared conclusion. Nabasu is a type of devil that feeds on humanoids and creatures alike, flies around at night, and uses the cover of night to find fresh prey.
Have any of you ever fought vampires or fiends? Because for me, it's usually just beasts.
I can't say that I have.
I've encountered
Vampires?
lowly fiends, but I'm not sure a creature of this level.
I mean, come on, a vampire? That big?
I mean, I would guess that with so much blood, you just burst with size and water.
Like a mosquito, it pumped itself so full that it just got 3 times its size. Oh my god. That's gonna be intense.
So from my recon knowledge, I also got pointed into the direction of the devil fiend. What was it called?
Yes. Nabasu, winged creature that goes down to find fresh prey and blood.
I guess I, as a player, don't have to know it.
Yes.
Just for my character to know it. But from the descriptions, it certainly sounded like something strange, more than just a mere animal, is going on here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You go towards Flynn, and he starts showing that he is prepared to make the way back to his town. It is quite far, but it seems as far as he is concerned, time is of the essence.
Flynn, you seem a bit exhausted. If you want, I can offer you a seat at Fox's back. I'm sure he wouldn't mind too much.
Oh, that would be very kind of you. I have been making my way in haste to get here. I would truly appreciate if you would assist. I would not recommend, maybe going towards the creature at night. That's when they are active, but we can reach the town by morning or the early afternoon tomorrow, and then we can explain to you a little bit more of how to get to what we have found to be the lair of the creature.
Oh, so you already
Sounds good to me.
found the lair?
It is deeper into the woods, but yes, we have tried to have other people to help us, but they ran away.
Cowards.
Doesn't sound like heroes. Oh.
Certainly not.
Yes, we'll have to play that part. So yeah, lead the way.
Lead the way. Yes. Is it okay if what's the name of your steed?
Fox.
And he goes towards Fox.
I would
Dear
offer to help
Fox.
you up, but, I'm tiny, so good luck.
Of course.
I mean, if you need a step, I can just make it, and I just point to the ground, and there's a 5-feet cube of ice.
Oh, that's very handy. And he takes a step on the thing, and it looks like he's trying to pet Fox to let him go on without maybe not letting him go on.
How is Fox to strangers?
He gives him a couple of pets. It's nice to meet you, Fox. Yes, that is a good question.
I mean, he's not the biggest fan of this situation right here, but I give him a couple pets, whisper in his ears that it's fine and that it's only for now and an emergency, and he will begrudgingly help.
Yep. Flynn climbs on the ice step and takes his position on Fox next to you. In that case, I have a map to where we would need to go, and he shows you on the map, basically from where you are at the moment to where you need to get to, which is to Zekrotska. You are not traveling that far, completely in the distance, but it is going to take you a couple of hours to get there. So I would like to ask, during your travels with most of you, first companions, would you like to describe what you do on the road?
I can start. Probably 90% of the time, wind is just laying between Fox's antlers. You can see that on the left side. There's a small cloth wrapped around one of the pointy parts, where it's where it can just lay there. And I just keep an eye out and I'm scouting from there. But it's not super obvious that I'm scouting. It mostly looks like I'm just sleeping there.
Beautiful.
I'm probably at least initially pestering Wind with questions about Fox, hey, Fox doesn't exactly look like a regular elk. Is he from Eyal? How did you find him?
How did I find Fox? That's a very good question.
That's a very good question.
Was more he found me. I was just Well, let's not go into details that much. I was just lying on the ground, a bit exhausted. And Fox just came by, swooped me up, and he kind of stayed by my side, and we sort of became friends. Not really sure why that happened or how, but it kind of did happen, and I'm very glad.
Yeah, Yoti just nods furious and just that sounds really good. I would also want such a friend. I'm happy for you.
Well, Carl would suggest just of like, hey, you guys want to play a game?
What kind of game does it involve losing money? I'm sorry, I don't have that much.
No. I spy with my little eye. And Carl would use that game as an excuse to point, partially sometimes at stuff that is outside, but more on what she sees on her new companion's clothing, and we just basically ask about it. Of I spy, and depending on what I see in terms of, weaponry or what else I have with you to it's basically Carl is trying with the pretense of a game to get to know more about what her companions can do.
That is smart.
So what kind of weaponry or other things do we spy on, especially Wind and Yoti? Because Carl would do it far less on Zora, so much less.
What? You're not spying on a travel companion that you're already used to?
Yes, I know. It is such a surprise.
I guess it makes sense though, as Zora would definitely probably stay back a bit, talk a bit less. She would have Starless, her familiar, definitely scout around us and keep an overview of the area. So from time to time you'd see the owl coming down onto her arm and checking in, and basically then flying off again. So she would keep an eye on the area and kind of just try to gauge her companions, see what their habits are, and try to read them a bit as Cal is playing the game.
I think you were talking about what she would be able to spy on Yotzi. Pick your poison. First of all, she has visibly 4 different toolkits on her.
Oh, I mean, there's a... Carl is pretty knowledgeable and would probably be make a suggestion or make maybe a wrong call on something, and then just okay, depending on the color, would just be I spot something light brown, and until you find it, and then hopefully, Yoti will say what it actually is.
That's great. It was light brown, probably the most closest to this is actually the skittering mask that I have.
Oh.
which is part of the silliest items I know. So she'd be like, "Oh, you mean this?" And she just pulls the mask, and it's horrifying a bit because it's probably covered a bit by this crackling snow and our feet, but there's sound of bug feet inside of this mask because it has. If I go down. If I go down, this thing, it carries me away from enemies and hopefully closer to friends. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I try not to use it too much, but that's how it happens.
That sounds pretty cool. So I spy with my little eye and points at some and thinks of or sees something on Wind. What do I see? What colors of items does Wind have?
I think... Okay, there's 2 things you can pick. Either it's a very curiously shaped sword, a bit too long for a short sword, but a bit too short for a long sword. And it says this dark purplish hue. Or you spot sometimes just tiny spectral green butterflies that appear around Wind just for a few moments.
Oh, the first thing would have been the I spy with my little eye something that is not the right size for 2 things. No, it's not that tree. Also not that bush.
Wait, shouldn't I say?
No, it's also not me.
Do you mean me?
No, you are the correct size for a sprite.
Well, not according to everyone in my village, but okay.
Aww.
Rude. That is so rude.
Everyone is correctly sized.
I mean, yes, everyone, but this thing is either too long or too short.
Wait, do you mean my sword?
Yes.
Oh,
It's a weird length.
Yeah.
Please explain.
It's sort of a family heirloom that I don't want to say stole, since there was no one left to, like...
So you scavenged it?
Yes, scavenged is a very good word for that. But it has been in the generation of my family for a long time now. And...
So, does it mean you're the last of your line?
I'm not sure about that one, to be honest. But I think so.
That's... my condolences, and... sounds a bit rough.
It's alright. I've kind of found my peace with it. It's been a while.
Okay, I mean, at least it wasn't recent. But yeah, it's an heirloom and somebody couldn't decide?
I don't know. It's been in our family for like a few 100 years now. And maybe someone thought it's pretty that way.
Or was it maybe for a very exceptionally small sprite to like be a longsword, or for an exceptionally large sprite to be then a short sword in comparison?
I'm a bit shorter or smaller than the usual sprite, so for me it's a longsword. But
no, I mean, so it was basically made for you?
I mean, maybe.
It sounds like you're the chosen one.
Not sure about that one, but I take it.
Ah, yes, you are. Yes, you are. I believe.
Well, at least one of us.
It feels like there's a lot of tension in the air, so Yoti's like, I spy the little eye, and points at Cal. Like, what can I see?
There's
reverse card.
Too many daggers. One of them is way nicer than the rest. And otherwise there's just there's some like a pouch that is clearly packed for playing cards. One has some jingle of dice. What else?
Probably for your team would be like, I spy the little eye, so many pointies.
Oh, you mean my daggers?
Why do you have so many?
Well, if you throw them, you need to throw a couple of ones and then like take them back later. But if I throw them and then I would only have one that,
Yeah, I guess they don't return to you, really.
Also, she keeps losing some, so...
How do you lose weapons?
Yes. Well, if you throw it at somebody and then they keep on running and they have far longer legs, it's really mean because you don't get your dagger back.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's so funny.
Yeah. It's so rude of them to not give them back.
Yes, they could at least throw them back.
Although I think it would actually make the bleeding worse in a lot of cases, so maybe they're just really trained in survival. Maybe they're smart and rude at the same time.
Yeah, so so I have a lot. And, sometimes you're on the ground, then it's easier to grab one from your boot than the one from your back. So, it's easy. So I spy with my little eye something green.
That tree.
No.
That other tree.
I'm not sure which one you're pointing at.
Every tree is kind of white with snow.
That is true. Most trees are kind of
Well-
like this now.
Well, but in their heart of hearts, some of them are green.
So that other tree.
No, actually, it's not a tree.
Okay.
I just wanted to
Good.
argue for, semantics sake.
That's fair. I'm also very glad you didn't show the tree. Then, like, could have been a while since we were to find that tree.
Just going one by one on each tree. Is it this
Yeah.
tree? No. How about this tree? No.
Which
Are
tree
you
is
sure
the
it's
pine
not
tree?
this tree?
It's the booger
And by
on
the
your
time we
nose.
find the tree, we're already long past the actual tree she chose.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. 100%.
Also, it's dark.
True.
Can't you see in the dark? Is that your issue?
I can't.
Oh, I guess if you're in the dark, Yotzi would just be glowing
That's fancy.
Shiny.
because of bioluminescent stripes, which is basically an implant that allows me to start glowing in 20 feet radius.
That's amazing.
That's so sick.
You would have noticed then probably if you are. I mean, I think
Yep.
some of you are pretty perceptive that when it became darker and like there was only low light, that Carl didn't seem to have an issue with that. Unlike most halflings.
Yeah, I mean, Cal does look like she can hold her own in the dark, and probably with so many daggers, likes being in the dark.
Oh, yeah, I mean, dark is comfortable. You know, you don't get bothered.
But you can't see.
Yotzi doesn't.
I mean-
Yotzi doesn't agree. Bardi agrees so
It's-
much with that.
So, I mean, yes, if it's pitch black, yes, I can't see. But if it's just, like this, it's still fine. I
I mean, the snow also reflects a lot of light, so.
mean, that helps, this is said.
That's fair.
On the topic of dark and the forest, do you want me to roll for stylus scouting?
Yes, please. Would you also describe that?
Like I mentioned before, Stylus would check in back from time to time and land on Zora's arm. But just fly above, fly ahead in circles and just see if they notice anything suspicious. She's a trusty little owl.
Can give me a perception roll for Starless. Starless flies forward to scout ahead whenever you're going. It seems like by now your accompanied elderly elf is half fallen asleep from exhaustion, but you do have the map to where you go, so you don't really need him to direct you. Starless flies forward, and most of the area is just open snow, meaning it will be very easy to see if something is coming to ambush you or if there's something in the area. As you're walking kind of on the edge of the forest, not like through it. Basically, half of your view is frozen trees and half of your view is open fields of snow and like frozen rivers going through it. As you're starting to approach the area where on the map it says Zekrotska, I'm gonna need to say it 100 times. Zekrotska. Starlight flies a bit forward and can spot truly a small village. It's unbelievably, compared to what you would even consider from Iarna, for example, that is still a small area. Zekrotska is even smaller, barely any houses, barely anything within it. Just a few wood cabins on the forest clearing. There's like a grand structure in the center of it, kind of a 2-story building that seems to be probably the main building of this place. But most of this is very, very much not a lit place. A lot of fields that are kind of like, seems to harvest root things that can still grow during winter. And there is some sort of wall, not like a wooden, not a structured wall from stone or something, but like stakes of wood that is surrounding this small place, as if to try to avoid some kind of harm coming into this place. Maybe try to protect this place even a little bit, with a gate that has like a narrow path that goes towards the center of this very small place.
As we're approaching, is it still night, or did we arrive in the morning and the sun is already out?
You have traveled for most of the night, meaning by now dawn is breaking. And you are nearly in Zekrotska.
When I would realize that we're close to our destination, I would just jump down to the elf and like kind of poke him into the cheek and be like, "Hey, old man, we're there.
Oh.
Wake up."
Oh, I must have dozed off. Are we close by?
I assume so.
It seems so.
If
Go ahead. Sorry.
if we didn't went to the wrong village.
Oh, Zekrotska is very difficult to miss. And he kind of like put his hand above his eyes to see like a little more clearly when the sun starts breaking, to like avoid having sun in his eyes as he looks forward. I'm gonna need a perception roll from everyone, please.
Perception.
Perception. First one to notice something is Cal. Cal, you notice that while this very small town seems to be there, like no guards outside of the wall, but there are absolutely like people walking on the top of it, but maybe one or two. It doesn't seem like they have enough people to have more than one or two guards on the wall. And this is where I'm going to ask from everyone to give me a reflex save, please.
Oh, wow.
Oh no.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna die.
Yep.
I am not re-rolling that nat one.
Nat ones
love
tell a
that
story.
I love that you have a nat 20 to get to the same number that I have.
Yep. That's... wait, where's Fox's character sheet? Here it is.
And Starless?
Does Starless also have to roll, being up in the air, probably?
Starless does not have to roll being in the air.
Great.
Oh no, Fox, no!
As you're approaching the place, you hear a ding! And then another one, and another one. As arrows start shooting towards you. Everyone, except for Fox and Yoti, you all magically and magnificently avoid those arrows. But Yoti, an arrow goes immediately into your shoulder. You take 3 points of piercing damage, and Fox takes half of that. So 1 point of piercing damage to Fox. As in response to you being shot at, Flynn starts yelling towards the place, "Stop! Stop! They're with me! I'm not kidnapped! Stop!" And like waving his arms toward the place.
Can I hear you? Or and Yoti's just trying to starts building a wall before her.
You start building a wall before you. And for a moment the arrows stop for now. So even if they didn't hear him, the arrows stop. Either they need to reload ammo, or they notice that he marked them not to do anything. Quiet. 1 minute. Another 30 seconds pass by.
Hal's just like, man, that's a good way to wake up. Like, I'm definitely awake. Fully, 100%.
Zora.
Fair.
Yes?
You are the only one who hears footsteps from behind you as you see an elven man with a bow raised towards you. Stop moving. Gramps, are you okay? And you hear Flynn responding into that. Please, take your bows down. They are with me. I brought them here. They're here to help us with the monsters. And you have the elf that is holding the bow. Younger elf. Has kind of like short, greenish, whitish hair and bright green eyes. Definitely scar marks that shows that he has been in some kind of combat before. Wearing some sort of assortment of green leather and symbols on him. Lowering his bow. Slowly. We're not used to outsiders.
Seriously, if you want help, you should not start shooting the first people that arrive at your town.
I don't know
Just
about
saying.
you. I don't know about you, miss, but after a certain kind of people come into your town and try to take things from you because you're a weak town, you don't trust outsiders so much. And he puts his bow behind his back. Not to mention, sorry about that. And thank you for coming.
I guess, talking towards Flynn, I thought we're here for a monster problem. If you're so wary of outsiders, you could have at least warned us, so we would have had a warmer welcome.
Well, it doesn't happen that often, but we did try to find some adventurers to help us with the monster, and it did happen once or twice that they tried to take advantage of the situation of the village. I did not suspect you would be these kind of people, so I didn't think of bringing it up, but my grandson here, and he like snaps a finger on his forehead to like poke on his forehead, should maybe treat outsiders a little more nicely when we look for people to help us with our issues. Don't you, Blake? Yes, Gramps. Sorry, Gramps. They're all good. And he waves towards the gate. You can stop aiming.
I mean, you can continue trying.
No, we
Please
have
stop
a limited
aiming.
amount of arrows. We don't have a lot of arrows to spend on that.
You do know that you can take the ones that are on the ground and reuse them, right?
Do you want
but
this
they
one?
break. Which one?
Yeti just takes an arrow out of her own shoulder and just gives it to Blake.
He just takes it and puts it back in his sash with the arrows in the back of his head without like saying anything. Kind of nods towards you. As I said, I'm sorry. Just, it's pissing me off every time, okay? I want to trust the people who come here, but lately they haven't been so trustworthy.
Yeah, it is something rude and dishonorable to not only not help other people, but also take advantage of their suffering. I understand, and I'm really sorry for you.
No, I need to stop jumping the gun. I know that. Gramps has told me that 1,000,000 times, and I never do. I'm sorry. Let's start over. I'm Blake Greenleaf. I'm one of the rangers of this village. One of the only 2, probably. Who are you?
Well, hello, I'm Cal. Your grandpa asked for help, so I showed up. And then just, Cal whispers to Zora, I think we should get, extra hazard pay for this job. Don't you think?
Zora just, does a low chuckle, but doesn't reply. Nice to meet you. I am Zora. I also replied to the call for help, and though I was traveling with Carl, these other 2 just joined us because they were also willing to help.
Yeah, hi, I'm Yeti. And probably at this point in time, I also just try healing myself and folks with Ocean Bomb.
Yep, absolutely.
At this point, you probably see that the saddle on the antler fox also serves as a hiding spot, as one cloth is just wrapped around me or above me, so you can't really see me, and it just lifted up again. And
There's another.
I would say I'm Wind, fellow ranger, and for rangers, you really don't have a good aim.
Aren't you a
He's not
charm?
wrong.
But you're fun at parties. I thought your beast here is coming to take stuff from our village. Trust me, if I wanted to shoot you, I would.
Doubt that.
Sure, buddy. Let's go give it to your village, and you can tell us more about all of the attacks and what has happened, so we can actually do our job. Okay?
That
Okay.
sounds fantastic. Follow me. And it starts leading you towards the village. The wall opens up to a frozen town. At the moment, while there's no massive snow, you do see the effects of being a town here in the cold. Houses have ice covering them. The entire street is kind of filled with ice and snow on the ground. And there are very much little houses that currently have any light on. It seems like they're trying to preserve heat as much as they can. So they have some of the bigger buildings that have a lot of light on, which seems to be they have a main heating that they have other people come over to, since this is not a town with a lot of resources. Blake starts pointing towards things. This is a regular house. You can ignore it. This is our inn/tavern/ town hall / meeting area / bar. You get the point. That over there is if you need anything that is not food, you can get there. If it's stuff, we can find somewhere to get shipments here. That over there is one of the main logging buildings, and that over there is another boring house. If you see a cart going through town with a lot of wood, they are probably not going to notice you because they need to hold the wood in place. Just move a little bit out of the way. That should be fine. Once you come with me to town hall, I'm going to show the people that you're the people who came to help us, and no one's going to shoot an arrow at you, I promise. Mostly because I supply the arrows, and I will not give them any. Any questions?
Sounds like none.
Perfect. In that case, if you would please follow me. Gramps, please go sleep. You have been outside all night. I can take it from here. Either way, you haven't been where the beast is, and I have. Go to sleep. And Flynn is kind of nodding as he was dozing off anyway. Yes, I will go rest. I'm truly sorry about my grandson's behavior. He is quite jumpy, as you would say. But if you give him just a moment to explain himself, he will behave better. And he gives a stern look to Blake. And Flynn starts going to one of the houses, probably his own house. Blake takes you to the major building, to the biggest one inside of this area. As he opens the doors and declares, "Everyone, we have visitors. Nice ones. I already made the mistake of shooting them. Let's greet them nicely like no one else can, all right? Thank you." And there are 5 people in the place. Nothing more than that. It's such a small place.
Have you ever thought about becoming a bard?
Honestly, had my thoughts, but I would surprise you on how much I am bad at telling people things that they want to hear.
Oh no, I wouldn't be surprised, but
Yep, same.
good to know. Good to know.
Man,
But let's come on, sit down, and then tell us all about the big bad beast.
Yeah, we want to hear about it.
Have a good eye. Yes, our beast. It's been around for a while now, a couple of weeks, maybe. Arrows don't do too much to it. I still don't know why. I've tried the poisoned one as well. Either I did not hit, and it gives a look to Wind before you can say anything. Of I'm waiting and I will shoot you.
I will mumble it under my breath.
Or the poison did not do anything to them. As for what we know, there is a cave a little bit further into the forest. Last I managed to track it, went into the cave at dawn, meaning it hunted all night and went back to his home to eat and then rest. So we know where it is. The problem is, the cave is unbelievably dark. Even someone like myself that can see with a little bit of light around, it's very difficult to see around there. What else? There are... How do I explain it nicely? You look like you've seen battle before, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, at least her and I, those two, I'm gonna assume.
Yeah, some battles here and there.
Then I'm hoping that you are all okay with the, at least, sounds of people constantly dying, screaming, and wailing.
What?
Not so sure about the constantly. Can you elaborate? Like, what?
Yes. From the moment I went into the cave, trying to find whatever I was dealing with, there were sounds as if people were actively dying in this place from pain. There was a smell of blood all the time, which makes sense if it just hunted, but it just sounded non-stop as if something was dying there. I would have thought that it was a creature or a person that had hunted, but you would have expected them to die at some point. But I stuck around the cave for more than 10 minutes, and the wailing didn't stop. The crying, the screaming didn't stop. I didn't tell Gramps about it because he's a bit scaredy cat, but everyone here in the guard knows exactly what I've been hearing there.
Carl again will just turn to Zara. Does it fit the thing, like the weird thing that you thought it might be? Does it make like weird noises like this? Is that a thing?
As you would know about Nabasu, yes, they have the ability to frighten or mimic some noises, auditory and visual, of wailing and screaming and stuff that like they have an aura of fear around them that people that stand in their aura feel like they are in a battlefield about to die.
Then I would reply to Carl. I think I've heard stories about that. Yeah. It would fit. They might have an aura around them that could impose those noises and create fear.
Icky. Very icky.
Sounds like you know what you're dealing with.
Can I recall some more specifics
She
on
does.
like the monster of what I heard? Like weaknesses,
Yes.
battle tactics, I don't know, like what's its hunting strategy? What does it usually do?
When looking at the Nabasu, give me then the religion roll, please.
Religion, not occultism.
Religion are fiends are usually religion roll.
Unfortunate.
Yes.
Oh wait, I have to swap to hidden.
Yes.
With that information, can I also try to do that with the folktale lore?
Yes.
And
You're gathering
but
your
also-
DC is a little different because you're using a specific lore, but it's a bit more vague. Yes.
it's not specific. It's just like it's basically like bardic lore, but yeah. And I have dubious knowledge for this lore specifically.
Oh, that's good to know. I actually knew that. I gave you already 2 options.
I mean, Carl also, when, the others are talking about where it comes from, it's just like, wait, in my religious studies, what have I heard ever about this thing? It's just like, oh god, trying to remember all the texts.
So, when it comes to Nabasu, let's start with Zora. Nabasu are quite typical fiends. They have weakness to cold iron, 5, and weakness to holy, 5. Quite a typical unholy creature that is a fiend. What would be the question of Cal and Yoti? What would you try to figure out about it?
Carl would, especially with the whole arrows didn't hurt it.
Mm-hmm.
If it is like, oh,
Poison didn't hurt it.
Poison, because Blake also said like that it might like that the arrows didn't do things. So Carl's worry is all piercing damage. So like is that negated? So looking at resistances or immunities.
Does Cal have any specific feat for knowledge? Cal trying to think. As far as you know, it doesn't fully make sense. You don't know too much about Nabasus. Nabasu are a terrifying creature. They fit all of the other categories, but you don't really know if they have any resistances to piercing damage. But according to what Blake has said, their arrows don't do too much against it, especially the poison doesn't. Yoti, what is your...
The same way as Cal is all piercing, I am all reflex. So how quick is it?
You come here to two things. And they're not exactly contradicting, but they're also not exactly fitting. You would be fairly certain that it's probably not resistant to piercing. You think that what you know of the Nabasu from what Zora says, the cold iron and the holy, is pretty much it. But also, something about the description Blake gave feels odd to a Nabasu. For two reasons. One, a Nabasu is usually not a big creature. Usually they look frightening, but honestly they are medium-sized creatures. But that's not the main reason you would think that. The main reason you have second doubts about Nabasu is because Nabasus are unbelievably dangerous. There is no reason for an Nabasu to just appear 2 weeks ago and not completely destroy this village in 2 weeks. They are that dangerous.
Yotzi is between fear and shaking her head and she's confusion and back. Miss Zara, are you sure it's Nabasu? Because I'm thinking back and I think they would have died if it was Nabasu.
You are right. I was going off the descriptions, but I wouldn't know them being resistant to piercing or like normal arrows either. I don't think they're that big.
It probably just didn't hit.
I want to check on. I guess there are other people in the room with Blake, even though he's the main one talking to us. I want to have just a general vibe check on Blake himself, if he would have any reason to lie to us, and also like if the other people in the room like indicate that he would be lying or something.
You can give me a sense motive, a blind perception.
Or like any reason he would give us wrong information.
You look first at Blake to see, like, kind of sense out his reactions to what you're talking about. He seems fully attentive, trying to figure out if he can give you any more information. There's nothing but honesty on his face. You look around on the people. Some of them are a little injured, which kind of correlates with what Flynn has told you before, that people have been injured before from this creature. They look at Blake with respect. The sense you would get here is there are probably more guards in town. Blake is the highest level in this place.
Okay, that reassures me. But a good point. Could I approach some of the people that were injured and, I guess, see from their wounds what the creature might be like? Like, do they have gash wounds? Did it fight with its claws? Was it bite marks? What could that hint towards?
You can give me a medicine roll to examine their wounds.
I guess I approach the other people of like,
out of it.
don't mind me please, but I would love to learn more about the creature. You were injured. Were you fighting it? I asked the other guards as I checked for medicine.
You see a woman in her late 30s she has bandages on her shoulder going all the way down to her elbow. And you look at her arm and she's like, it was honestly too dark. I can't give you too much information about it, but I just suddenly felt this piercing pain, and I was flung fully about 20 feet into the air. If Blake didn't shoot it down, I wouldn't have been here. You examine the wound. You see clearly 2 holes in her shoulder, as if something bit her in the shoulder, as if fangs bit her in the shoulder. But they're not small, they're massive. It's as if a large creature bit her in the shoulder with 2 sharp fangs.
Those look like giant vampire marks? Are they like perfectly 2 holes like you typically have from vampires?
Pretty much. That looks to you exactly that.
I told you so.
That does bring Yoti to your first thought between the Nabasu and the mutant bat. That does fit with a mutant bat. They're giant bats. They bite. Their bite is nasty. They are a flying creature. They can hear you and smell you very well. And they fly around during the night.
But they usually don't have...
But the aura is weird then.
The aura is what is weird to you. The wailing does not go with a mutant bat.
Do we know if Nabasu and mutant bats could have a child?
I was thinking
Or
working
if
together.
maybe we don't find, if we don't find one of them, but 2.
I was thinking about together, but together it's that problem with Nabasu is dangerous, so it's either really weak Nabasu or not a Nabasu at all.
I think by now your direction goes towards the not Nabasu more than the weak Nabasu. Especially because the size, and even a weak Nabasu would have taken this town completely out.
But I'm still trying to figure out what is the mystical part of it. Like a giant bat is a beast, right? It would not have an aura creating fear and shrieks, right?
Not as far as you know, no. That doesn't fit to a beast that just hunts there.
Maybe the cave is the source of that, and the bat just happens to have found cover in it.
Because they don't say that when the creature comes around, they hear that. It's only that Blake heard it in the cave.
Is that correct,
True.
Blake?
Yeah, now that you mention it, I don't think I've heard the wailing when it was flying around. I just assumed whatever it hunts, it likes to torture, but that could be. That would make a lot of sense if it's something in the cave and not the creature itself.
Miss Zora, when you were telling that story, at the end you mentioned something that created beasts or fiends inside a cave? Could this be similar?
I don't know. Those were vessels, weak humanoid minions.
Also a type of fiend, but absolutely not something that would apply here. They live in solitude. Usually they have the minions that they summon, but other than what they summon, they do not live with anything else. They do not work with other creatures except for their minions.
Yeah, then what I already said applies.
Look, Gramps chose you because you seem capable, and because you agreed. Okay, if Gramps chose you, I trust his choice. I can show you the place when you're ready to go. It's gonna take a bit to get there, but
How far is
not
it
a
from
lot
here?
of time. Maybe an hour and a half into the forest.
I'm mostly looking at the party of we've been traveling all night. How are we feeling?
If you want to rest before, that's fine.
If we don't do it right now, then more people could be hurt.
I mean, we have until night if we go by what has happened so far. We could set an ambush at the cave entrance at dusk.
Do we
Look.
need to roll for fatigue or something like that?
Then in that case, yes, if you don't rest, you would become fatigued. You are here around like early morning, early noon kind of thing. So technically you do have 8 hours until the evening if you would like to take your rest here before moving an hour and a half with Blake during through the forest so he can show you where the cave is.
That sounds smart.
If we do that, we should hurry because I kind of don't want to wait until the night to fight it.
Yeah, same.
Power napping it is. Power nap. Power nap.
Are there any rules to like shorten the rest to like power nap or something?
I don't believe there is.
I see. No power naps here.
No power naps here.
It's like 8 currently, 8, 9-ish in the morning.
It's like 10-ish, 10,
Okay.
11 actually.
Ooh, then it's gonna be close because it's dark by 6 in the evening.
Yep.
I don't like either, honestly.
Yeah, same. But I'm leaning towards just going now.
All right.
If you're prepared, you're prepared, but you're the ones who are going to be dealing with the beast. I'm not going to push you to do one or another.
Well, fatigued is just -1 to AC and saving throws, so.
Yeah, no, we should... Come on, we take a power nap.
I vote for go now, but I'm happily to be outvoted.
So
Happy
one
to
word
be
for
outvoted.
resting, one word for going now. Yoti?
Going now.
I'd also be for going now. Cal, are you fine with that?
Then let's go. Let's go.
And so we're all fatigued.
We're still scouting right now. If we find something that's very dangerous or we hear something in the cave that makes us cautious, we can always return and help the town defend at night.
True.
We're not yet fatigued, right?
I mean, 16 hours. If that counts yesterday and the night, then that would be now.
But like 16 hours without resting, that's like such a weird time. I mean, yeah, it's the normal day, but like
it is so that you
normal
rest.
people
It's
can
so
just-
that you rest every 24 hours. It is not normal for a regular human being because yes, you can push on a couple of days even without.
Not
Am I an SDM? Am I an SDM? I am a nice DM. I do think I'm a nice DM. Let's go with the roll. I got the hint. No, I'm kidding. Let me think of a DC that will be fitting here.
It would make sense that it's high DC because we are in like cold temperatures and like
Yes.
frigid travel conditions. So
Hard DC for level 4 is 21.
okay.
It's not too bad.
No. The normal
it's-
DC for level 4 would be 19 anyway, so it's not that different from the regular DC.
Only
And it's
plus
fortitude,
2.
right?
Interesting.
Yep.
I will use my hero point from that, not one.
Yes, you have a hero point. Please do.
so it's a fortitude save.
Yes, it's a fortitude save, DC 21.
My con is shit.
What? We're all rolling so low.
I'm not.
I mean, Why
Why did you just a
rolled
hero
nice
point?
and high?
She rolled a 2 first.
Yes.
I might also hero point.
I also rolled a 2.
I rolled a 3, so
No.
Yeah, I have a total of 28.
Wind, you're doing great.
Yeah.
Do you need to roll to Fox?
Oh, true. I forgot. I mean, it makes sense
I
that I'm
think-
fine. I was sleeping along the way
Yeah.
on Fox's antlers.
Starless is a familiar. I don't believe you need to roll for them specifically because they're a summoned creature.
you
Fox
tell
is
me.
doing fine. Since they're summoned, I think you don't need
Yeah,
to roll
like,
for them. I think it will make sense.
You were
not
asking
to.
it as if it was a question. I don't know the answer.
Then my phrasing would be, since Starless is a summoned creature, Starless does not need to roll. Starless is doing fine. Fox and Wind with a 28 and 25, you're doing well. You are not fatigued. Yoti with a 24, you're also not fatigued. Then we have Zora, with a 17, you are fatigued from the travel, and Cal with an 8, that's a critical failure. I don't think it will be fair to make you fatigued too just because we rolled for that, for the chance of not being fatigued. So let's go with fatigued as well and not fatigued too.
You'll have a grumpy little halfling next to you, just like, we could have just taken a nap.
It fits so well.
Amazing.
Could have, because Cal was indeed the person.
It was for taking a nap.
Yes.
Miss Cal, but you'll be able to sleep soundly and not with the fear that something might happen while you sleep.
What if we get trapped in a cave?
And we can sleep in the cave.
But what if we need to be alert the whole time? What if there's like, I don't know, rats coming and gnawing on our shoes? Like, this
Rats
leather
are
was
cute.
expensive?
Rats are cute, we can make
That's
friends
your
with
worry
them.
right now, that the leather is expensive, not that you might die. I feel like you should think about the priorities there.
I mean, the rats won't kill me.
Oh, okay, I see.
But if my shoes have a hole, that's gonna be so uncomfortable.
I have a repair kit
Okay.
just for this, so if your shoes get a hole, I will try my best to repair them.
Blake kind of
Okay.
leans towards Zora. Is she okay? Is that going to be the whole way like this?
Let's hope she's too tired by then.
Okay.
Have you seen your eye bags? Have you seen them?
They're natural, ma'am. I don't know
I
how
wasn't
to call
talking to you. I was talking to Zora.
Oh, sorry.
Don't pretend like you're not tired.
But I'm not making a
We
fuss
just-
about it.
We've marched all the way to.
Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to ask, please don't get insulted. How fast are you? I need to know if I need to slow down.
Faster than you.
I highly
Have
doubt
you
that.
seen these legs? Have you seen them? They're not as like yours are basically my whole size.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. I'm trying to be respectful for your speed.
Yeah, it's usually what you do, just, you know,
I know,
is
Sylvia.
when you start walking, you see somebody is walking slower than you start adjusting your pace.
I'll adjust
whisper,
my pace, ma'am.
Yeah, I would whisper to Ben, can we have Miss Cal just take a nap on Fox?
On the way.
I already stretched his patience with the one trip. I need to explain that it's another emergency right after the first one, so I can try my
walk.
best.
My legs work just fine. My legs work just fine, okay? See? And just Carl starts walking. Just stop it.
I will ask Wind if he wait, I'm Wind. I will ask Fox if he's okay with it.
I don't know. Is Fox okay with it?
That's a good question. Can I roll animal handling for that?
Sure.
What is
animal
animal
handling?
handling?
Is usually nature.
Okay. Should I do it open or closed?
You can do it open. You're sussing out your own.
It'll be
Mount.
alright. A 15 is
You'll be
is
fine.
solid. He will understand. Maybe you need to buy him a snack or two after that.
Oh,
You might need to.
You always need to.
Fair.
Okay. Are we set to go?
Sure.
Yeah. Miss
Kinda
Cal,
nods.
where are you walking away?
I mean, you can all catch up. I mean, look at your legs.
Feel some things are happening. Blake starts leading the way out. As I mentioned, it's about an hour and a half stride through the forest. Blake is leading you, but if you would like to give me some survival rolls as well to see if you can follow some other clues of the forest, you may give me them as well.
Yes, please.
Or
I'd like to
close
know
or
the way
open?
back.
Closed because you don't know if you've clocked things correctly.
Okay. Yeah,
Can
I would.
instead
Which skill again? That was too fast for me.
Survival.
Survival.
Charlie, I have a question. Can I instead try to see if there are any signs of this monstrosity's activities, like some branches broken or something similar, like
Yes.
tracks if it tries to not fly?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. This will also be like under the survival roll. You start walking through the forest. Cal, you are so tired. You are honestly barely focusing. Like you're just walking behind or like on Fox, like sitting on Fox as Fox is striding. And Fox moves in a way that you're not used to. So every once in a while, like it's ducking under a branch and you're like surprised that it needs to duck under a branch because you wouldn't do that. So all of his movements are making it very hard for you to concentrate on where you are going. As for Wind and Zora, you can see absolutely that the road that Blake is going through, he has been at least doing that a million times. He knows exactly where we're going. He knows exactly what's the way to do that without, like, you can see some branches that are already, like, pre-broken on the floor, so they will make less noise when you, like, walk on them because they're already in like, some moss and stuff. It seems like he knows exactly, he, like, prepared the way to be more quiet and easier to walk through for the occasion where he will bring someone to this place. Yoti, you are examining around to see any marks and signs of stuff that might be fitting to this whole situation. You're trying to figure out, did it already start moving around? Can you clock any signs on the floor of it starting to move or making its way to do something? You definitely see some branches broken in this, like in the trees above, something that is, it has to be a grand creature flying around doing so. I'm also going to say that you can kind of clock some of the branches to be a little older and some of them a little newer, as if you're looking around and you can see on an area of like a tree clearing that some of it wasn't a tree clearing before, but recently it became one when something massive flew around it, kind of fixing with all of the knowledge that you already have. As you're walking through the forest, the entire place is still covered in snow and ice. You do pass next to like a kind of half-frozen waterfall on the way, crossing some pre-made bridges that were expecting for someone. You kind of see that if Blake did all this alone, my god, he has been waiting for someone to help his village a lot. And you walk for an hour and a half until you reach a location. A clearing in the forest that kind of ends with a cave entrance, a massive cave entrance. You see some broken trees and branches around it. As you can see, there's some mossy grounding coming out from the cave entrance. You stand on the path as you see Blake kind of like rushing a little forward away. Wind, give me a perception roll.
Yep.
You would hate to admit it, but he is 100% faster than you, as he rushes to a stone to get a little better view
Okay, he's
on the
faster
cave
than me.
opening.
But is he faster than Fox? Wait, I'm the same speed as Fox, never mind.
He looks towards the cave and kind of motions to you. He doesn't speak from where he is because it seems like he doesn't want to make any too much of a loud of a noise. But he motions to you to come a little closer as he kind of signs towards you, something that looks in the area of like, it seems quiet. We could try to look in.
Wait, you're also coming?
I would hate to admit it, but if I'm dead, there's no one to protect my village.
Oh yeah, no,
I'm
I
staying
thought
here.
you were also coming with us, that's why I was surprised.
No. I came here to show you the place. But I leave this to the experts.
So, should we supposed to hear the screams right now, or when we get closer to the cave?
Being from here, you don't hear it at the moment. You can get closer to the cave and give me a perception roll.
Yeah, I go, and as I go, I start channeling my elements because who the hell knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah, I'll also
Fair enough.
take out my sword.
I would cast, what's it called? The Nudge Fate on myself. Because
Sounds
it does
good.
last a minute.
You said a perception check?
Yes, perception from anyone who is at least bypassing where Blake stands. So if you're a little further behind, you need to get a little closer.
I would go into just. I mean, I'm on.
You're on Fox, that is
on
true.
Fox, yeah. So I.
I guess for you it's relevant, Charlie, if I fail by like 1 or it's 1 off from a success or something, then the Nudge Fate would jump in.
And if you don't fail or if it's too far away, it just doesn't activate,
Exactly.
right?
It only activates when it's a +1 would actually do something.
Okay. You all approach a little closer to the cave entrance and listen. Wind, you're trying your best, but you don't clock anything massive. Like maybe it's very faint if it is there, but you don't hear anything at the moment. Zora, you hear like it's not mumbling, but you hear definitely some kind of voice. It sounds heavy. It sounds very as if something is gasping for air and releases a soft, like weeping moan kind of thing. Yoti and Cal, you have perfectly clear hearing of what's inside. You hear you hear this heavy, like someone similar to what Zora has just like been hearing, grasping for air and then releasing a soft moan that almost sounds like it's crying at the same time. But what you all hear is when that soft moan turns into a massive shriek, a shout, a yell. It sounds like all of the things together, as if a voice you would hear from someone who has just been stabbed. What do?
We need to go and help them, right? Right?
Don't rush in yet. We were warned that this might be around.
Yeah.
We should
Rush in, but
still go.
be careful.
Yes, let's definitely investigate, but let's not be hasty. It could be a trap.
Should I scout the head?
If we go in, Cal is going to, she's good at the whole acrobatic stuff and would try her best to basically hang off the side of Fox, like hold dance that hopefully she gets covered mostly by Fox so that a foe would see Fox but not her. Like on the side, it would be like, I am one with the elk. I'm one with it.
I'm one with the elk is amazing.
Like, I smell a halfling, but I don't see one.
Fox is like so much bigger than I am.
Same.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's like activate your core muscles to like stay upright in this weird position where it's like these like a pole dancer, or like the dudes that will show off like how strong they are and how strong their core is.
Like
just
a
like
flag.
holding on. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes. That's how I'm just like. Mm-hmm.
You all prepare in different ways. either to move in or to figure out what's going on. But with a last terrifying scream and shriek, we're gonna have to end our first session and figure out what actually is going on in our next episode.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Are we all gonna die?
Probably.
You might, I don't know.
No. I'll sacrifice all of you to run away.
Aw.
I would
Aw.
never.
Noble of you.
Never.
I think someone in the
Yeah.
cave just
Fantastic.
died. Or that's what it sounded at least like.
It
gonna
sounded
be
awful.
fine.
Absolutely awful.
Yeah, I think if we were not warned about this by Blake, we would have all rushed in to like help whoever that might be, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Initiative that is gonna happen in our next episode. Thank you very much for playing. We're gonna see you all next time as we figure out what is the screams inside the cave. And can our
It's
party...
a couple of goblins
It's a
How can
It's a couple
someone
of
die for so
goblins.
long?
Probably.
that just want to prank. They are just pranksters. There's nothing harmful in this cave.
They have already dedicated to their prank, like for hours on end.
Yes.
Good job on them. They've been just sitting here and yelling. They did a
Maybe
good
they're
job.
meditating.
Or meditating, that's true. Their meditate is yelling. That sounds like a barbarian thing.
Oh,
Anyway. Thank you very much. And I'll see you all next time we play
See you.
Shrewd Tradition.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Of Dice and Dinner uses trademarks and or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc. used under Paizo's fan content policy. That's paizo.com/licenses/fan content. Of Dice and Dinner is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, please visit paizo.com. Content in the short adventures played by Of Dice and Dinner are not canon, nor were they endorsed or approved by Paizo. If you would like to reach out to us in social media, you can find us in Blue Sky with Of Dice and Dinner Blue Sky, or in our email address, ofdiceanddinnerpodcast@gmail.com.